How's it going, everyone? It's your boy, Television here, back with another video essay. Today's video may be sort of a controversial one, in that I am portraying kind of the protagonist of the video as an anti-hero, antagonist of some sort, if you want to call it that. As I was writing this essay, the back of my head just goes, this could be a controversial video, because it might just rub people the wrong way. I don't know, who knows? Pretty new to the YouTube game, might be a hot take, might be a lukewarm take, maybe someone has already talked about it, but whatever, this is my take, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to give me your feedback in the comments down below. I'll talk to you after the video. To subvert an audience's expectations is one of the greatest achievements of an artist. It shocks us, it makes us wonder, and it makes us think more critically about the nuances in the medium presented by said artist. I'm going to bring up something, a question that may seem unrelated to the subject of this video essay, so bear with me as I kind of lay the groundworks for that. The question I want to bring up is, what makes comedy funny? Well, according to an article from the Scientific America, many theories float on why we find things funny, include quote unquote that people find humor in and laugh at earlier versions of themselves and the misfortunes of others because of feeling superior, or another reason may include laughter allows people to let off steam or release pent-up nervous energy. Those are a couple reasons that in my research people find are the reasons why people laugh. However, what I find most interesting is the third reason why we find things funny, why people laugh. A third long-standing explanation of humor is the theory of incongruity. People laugh at the juxtaposition of incompatible concepts and at defiance of their expectations. That is, at the incongruity between expectations and reality. According to a variant of the theory known as resolution of incongruity, laughter results when a person discovers an unexpected solution to an apparent incongruity, such as when an individual grasps a double meaning in a statement and thus sees the statement in a completely new light. Now, the idea of this video came from another video I recently saw from this channel called Clair Obscur. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And the video titled, "The most important plot point of Clair Obscur is a lie." In this video, Clair Obscur discusses an elusive plot point that was sprinkled throughout the whole game. I'm linking his video down below if you guys want to go give it a watch. Go give him a support, thumbs up, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Now, from my understanding, Clair Obscur essentially lays out the reason on why he thinks Verso is the reason that caused the fire at the Dishonored family mansion, and it is evidenced by his manipulative persona in the game. Lune calls this out and says that Verso thinks in false dichotomies, that things are not always black and white, not always do or die, not always in the extremes. There are a spectrum of possibilities that lead to various outcomes.
I was right not to trust you.
And what would you have done in my position?
I wouldn't have betrayed my expedition. I would have warned them that everyone they cared about was about to be erased, that they were about to be erased. I would have told them the truth, because after everything we've been through, we deserved that.
So you choose your expedition over your mother?
That's your problem. You think in false dichotomies. It wasn't an either-or situation. Other solutions were possible if you'd only trusted us enough to ask.
So after the video, that got me thinking more about Verso's personality and the things he says throughout the game. And what if, right? What if after all this time, Verso is actually the main villain of this game? Now, before you go down in the comments and write your angry comments and give me all the dislikes, I kind of want to lay out my reasonings on why I believe Verso may be the antagonist, the anti-hero, or just someone that's opposing the main party's goals and mission. Let me just lay it out. From the start of Clair Obscur, we were introduced to Gustav, the main character of this game. The person, if you're a gamer, you know that the person introduced in the beginning of the game most likely is the character that we were supposed to stick with throughout until the end of the game. Obviously, if you have finished the game, you know that, spoiler alert, Gustav eventually meets his demise at the end of Act 1 in the hands of Painter Renard. This game again solidifies the idea of subverting the viewer's expectations by killing off Gustav at such an early part of the game. I like to play with the idea that maybe Painted Verso, like Gustav, die on purpose in order to replace him as the main character of the story, to replace the protagonist with the antagonist. Or maybe Verso might be an anti-hero, I don't know. That might be another video idea, but first let's continue talking about Verso's plan. Verso, or Painted Verso, being the epitome of a Link's painted creations, Painted Verso embodies everything that is real Verso, from his looks, personality, passions, quirks, etc. Also, unlike his family of painters, Verso's passion has always been in music. And what is one aspect of music creation? Writing the music, writing the actual piece itself. What if Verso, to rebel against his family's teachings and to pursue his real passion, joined the writers? In his attempt to manipulate his family, Verso worked with the writers to burn down his family mansion and faked his own death. If we were to believe, to paint the picture, haha, get it? Paint. Let's go back to the scene where Mayao saw Verso burning. If we were to believe that what Mayao saw of Verso's last moments is true, then we can also assume that Verso's death was painless due to the fact that he was not screaming in agony. As we all know, being burned, I hope you don't know. That would be crazy if you do. But as we all know, being burned alive is one of the most painful ways to die. Or maybe, in some crazy reason, Mayao has chosen to suppress her memories and instead replace it with a more pleasant one, with all suppressed memory and all that. But for the sake of the video, let's assume real Verso faked his own death. We also know that the world of Clair Obscur is located within the painting of real Verso. In fact, it is the only canvas he has ever painted, hence why Aline and the rest of the family cherishes it so. What if Verso painted the canvas as part of his master plan to hide his true intentions from his family? To paint means to conform with his family business, if you can call it business, family trade, something along those lines. Anyway, to paint means to conform with his family business and to be void of all suspicion from the rest of the family. If he's painting, no one else is gonna question his intentions since he's dressed like the rest of his family. This manipulates the family into thinking that Verso, maybe deep within, also has a passion in painting and that the family no longer needs to worry about real Verso straying away from the path of painting. Another interesting thing I want to point out is that when you look up the meaning of the word Verso, the second definition says the reverse of something such as a coin or painting. Very interesting. The reverse of a painting, the reverse of the usual expectations, the reverse of a protagonist, the reverse of a logical person, someone that thinks in false dichotomies and in extremes. Finally, the ending of this game is nothing short of exceptional. The player is presented with the option of either fighting as Mayao or fighting as Verso, Painted Verso, that is. Either option you choose can be seen as messy and riddled with nuances, making it almost impossible to determine what the good and bad endings were. I've scoured the internet, and what is deemed as a good ending and a bad ending seems to be divided amongst the fans. of the game? Well, here's my opinion. It appears to me, at least, that the ending where the canvas is destroyed is the good ending. I am also in the camp of this being the good ending. However, if we revisit the idea that Verso is a musician, then maybe we can assume that Painted Verso also manipulated the ending songs. Painted Verso diverted and manipulated the player's expectations by composing a song that invokes the emotions of release from grief, and release of Verso from his pain of painting within the canvas for all of eternity. This ending also concludes real Verso's grand scheme, and that is to fake his own death, to escape his family's expectations, and to finally join the faction that aligns with his passions and ideals. Now, I'm not going to dive too much into the other ending too much, as I think that might be an idea for another video, but can kind of talk about the quote-unquote bad ending here. If we were led to ourselves into thinking that music is what justifies the emotions we should be feeling, then based on the theme of this video, we can deduce that Painted Verso composed the ending of the bad ending in such a way where we are led to feel sad and uncomfortable to the fact that Painted Verso failed his own schemes. He failed in killing everyone in the canvas, much like how real Verso failed to fake his own death in the real world. Now, we don't really know what's happening in the real world in this ending, as the whole scene takes place inside the canvas, but as a fun little thought experiment, I like to think that in the real world, somehow the Desandre family discovered that Verso faked his own death. And the irony, well, what's funny is that real Verso became as trapped as Painted Verso, in that both versions are kept alive due to the family's personal reasons. You know, with the family wanting Verso to be a painter, and within the canvas, Mael wanting to spend a lifetime with Painted Verso. Both are trapped in their own right. Now, to conclude this video, I want to touch on the reason why we find comedy funny. The ideas presented in the comedy bits subverts the viewer's expectations and makes us do a second take. Thus, our brain connects ideas that we never even thought of before, and that novel idea makes us think that the ideas presented are funny. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 subverts the player's expectations. Maybe not just the player's expectations, but the industry as a whole. It brings a fresh and modern take on turn-based combat, a mechanic thought to be obsolete long ago, or so Square Enix thought. The plot of this game isn't as black and white. It's messy, it's dark, and more importantly, it is beautiful. The players never expect the next plot point and are always surprised by each revelation. All this version of expectations is what makes this game so great. It's what keeps us hooked and intrigued. We are emotionally invested in each of these characters, as I was during my playthrough of this game. The idea of Verso as a villain is something no one ever expects, which is why I find it so beautiful and intriguing to write an essay on this topic. Well, you made it to the end of this video, so what did you think of the idea that Verso is the villain? Is it a good idea? Is it just a dog water take? Let me know in the comments down below. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Twitch, where I'll be playing Stellar Blade next, maybe, perhaps. Or I'll be working on another video essay like this, maybe on Clair Obscur again, or another video game, or just another topic in general. I don't know. I don't know what direction to take my YouTube channel through, but I think I'm almost finding the right route. So, until next time, chat, talk to you soon. Peace!